Live. Hi, happy Sunday. Welcome in. I am live in two places, so I'm gonna look up, look down, but if you are here, let me know. Let me scoot myself up so I can see you guys. Also, just, ignore the unmade bed behind me. It's nothing you haven't seen all the time, but anyway, happy Sunday. Happy you guys are here. I'm so excited to do another live with you. Thank you for being here. I want to chat about something that the online industry doesn't want you to know. Hello, Uncle Brothers. Hello. Say hello as you're popping in. Hello, Ellie. Nice to see you. We're going to talk about something that the online industry does not want you to hear. Elizabeth says, so glad to see you. Nice to see you too, friend. I'm so glad that you're here. So if you're here, grab your drink. Coincidentally, forgot mine. Okay, grab your drink, settle in. I wanted to turn my notifications off. I wonder if I can do that from here? I can. Do not disturb. We did it. Okay, hopefully that works on both my phone and my computer. All right, let's rock and roll. Say hi as you're coming in. Grab your drink. Stay a while because I think that some of the things that I'm going to talk about are going to be things that you've been waiting to hear. And the things that maybe you needed to hear. And I think some of these things will help jumpstart you into achieving the goal that you are working on achieving. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? And I'm going to start with a pretty bold statement. And it is this. The reason you're not making money online has nothing to do with strategy. Let me say that again. The reason you're not making money online has nothing to do with strategy. Okay? Woof. Nobody told me that for 8 years. So I just kept buying and I kept investing and I kept thinking, well, the next strategy will be the one, right? Like, let me just buy again. It'll be the right strategy, I swear. And I kept starting over and I kept starting over year after year with little to show for it. Been there. Anyone else? But tonight I want to tell you actually what was going on. I didn't know it at the time, but I know it now. And I want to tell you this because I think that it is a lot of you. And it's based on an email that I got this week. And thank goodness I got this email. Thank goodness you guys out there reply to emails. Can I just encourage you, if you get an email from someone that maybe you look up to, or maybe you even don't, or maybe someone that you admire, you're on their email list, please reply to emails. We read them, or at least I do. I read every single email reply. And if you know me, you know that I usually just don't type a reply back. Like if I have something to say, this time I shot a video and I sent it over. So let me tell you about this email, okay? I got an email from a guy who's been in my world for a couple of years. I don't know exactly when he joined my email list. I didn't look, but it was somewhere in 2023, 2024. So it's been at least 2 or 3 years that he's been on my email list getting my emails. Okay. Now he invested in a similar coaching that I invested in 2023. And he did exactly what you are supposed to do. He found someone who had what he wanted and he put his money where his belief was. Like, if I invest in this guy who's doing the thing that I want to do, well, then I will also do that thing, right? Been there. And then last year, this company closed. And it was, we could tell a whole story for another day. It doesn't really matter the reason why it closed, except for the fact that it wasn't because the company wasn't good. The company actually created tons of six-figure earners, multiple six-figure earners, millionaires in the time that it was open, which wasn't even that long. And due to unfortunate, basically people getting greedy is the reason why this company went down. Anyway, it doesn't matter. A few bad actors made it look bad and they collapsed, and it's a story for another day. But he reached out to me and he told me that he felt scammed. He was feeling betrayed by the company. And at the end of the email, he said this very important line, and I think you need to hear this. He said he was stuck working a job that kept him away from his home for a certain amount of months per year. And that he said he needed this, being this flourishing online business, a way to make money online, now more than ever. He needed this now more than ever. Who here can feel this? Who is watching that has either said that, like, I need this now more than ever? right? And I'm raising my hand because that was me in 2023. I was there. I was trapped in this vicious cycle of like, I need to get out. I need it to happen now. It's not happening fast enough. I just need to buy all the things so I can figure out which one is correct, right? So let's break this down. I'm going to tell you, Uncle Brother says yes. I'm going to tell you what I said in this reply. And when I wrote back to his email, I said, listen, you're either going to love me or you're going to hate me for this video reply. And you'll know why in a few minutes, okay? I have spent over 6 figures on courses, coaches, programs, masterminds, mentorships since 2015. Okay? $100,000. And I didn't have real measurable success until 2023. If you are calculating, that is 8 years. 8 years. And for most of those 8 years, I was making the same 5 mistakes over and over and over without even realizing it. So let's talk about each of them so that you don't make them too. Okay? Because these are the reasons why you are not making money online. Mistake number 1 is shiny object syndrome. Who knows what shiny object syndrome is? Give me a hey yeah in the chat. Right? Shiny object syndrome is not getting distracted, or it's not just getting distracted by something new or exciting. It's actually deeper than that. It is this belief that that what you're currently doing isn't working and that the next thing is the answer. Okay, let me say that again because I think this is important. Shiny object syndrome. Okay, I see some people saying, hey, yeah, definitely me. Yes. Okay. Shiny object syndrome is the belief that the thing you're currently doing isn't working and the next thing is the answer. I've invested so many times based on that belief. Okay. Who has been there? Who has said that? Because here's where it gets really, really sneaky. Okay. You find someone who has what you want or who has done what you want to do, achieved what you want to achieve, etc. Right? You invest in their strategy and you start implementing. And then you hit a wall. And instead of pushing through the wall, you start looking around at what everyone else is doing and you think, well, maybe if I just showed up exactly how that person is showing up, maybe if I just did it exactly in the way that they did it, maybe that's the missing piece. And what happens little by little by little is that you start to lose the pieces of yourself that make you you, and you start to try to fit into the box of somebody else, and it doesn't work. I can promise you. That's not the missing piece. Because I spent years trying to be exactly like the people I was learning from. Talking like them, posting like them, building my business like them. And it wasn't working, okay? Spoiler alert. And it wasn't because the strategy that they were teaching is wrong. I think that's the part that I need you to hear the loudest. It wasn't because the strategy that they were teaching was wrong. It was because I was implementing someone else's strategy as somebody else and not myself. And the market, aka the people watching, could feel that. And they always feel it, okay? So the thing that no one wants you to know is that every single strategy works. There it is. Every single strategy works, okay? But no strategy works when you're not in it as yourself. Does that make sense? When you are not the authentic person behind the strategy, it won't work. The shiny object isn't the new course or the new platform or the new offer. The shiny object is the idea that the version of you that looks like someone else is going to get you where you want to go, and it's not. That's a digger. Right? Let me say that again because I think it's really important. The shiny object is the idea that the version of you that looks like someone else is going to get you where you want to go, and it won't. Okay? It's so important that we hear that one. That's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is what I call constant course hopping. And when I say course hopping, usually what this means is that you buy a course, you start a course, you get stuck, you buy another course. You buy that course, you start that course, you get stuck, you buy another course. I am someone who sees things through to the end, okay? But I also have purchased a lot of things. So I always, when I purchase something, when I invest in myself, I do the thing, I do exactly what they say, I follow it through, I go through the whole thing till the very end. Most people don't do that. Some of you might do that here, right? Let me know in the comments if that's also you. Because I say this as someone who has bought a lot of courses, more than I can count. So this is not a judgment, okay? This is just a mirror. I want to reflect back to you only because I have figured out what works now. Okay, so here's the truth about courses. Almost all of them work. Don't get mad at me. I mean it. There's a ton of great courses. I sell one myself. I sell 3 of them, right? The strategies inside most programs are solid. Post to social, share a freebie, get someone on your email list. It all works. Promote a low ticket product. That works. Promote a mid-ticket product. That works. Promote a high-ticket product. That works. It all works. $5 a day on ads. That works. $100 a day on ads. That also works. Okay. All of these strategies work. But here's what doesn't work. Buying the course. Starting the course. Hitting week 3 when it gets hard and results aren't there yet. And then deciding that this course doesn't work or this strategy doesn't work, and then you hop into the next one. You will do that forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And then you will say courses suck, courses are a scam. And I've seen it all over the internet. People have said it to me. Courses are a scam. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? No, they're not a scam. Okay? And I think I know why people do this. In fact, no, I know why people do this because I've had enough conversations with people to understand this. It is timelines. So someone saw results in 30 days. So you say, okay, well, I'm going to do that same course, program, mastermind, whatever it is, and I'm going to get results in 30 days. And then when I don't get results in 30 days, well, that means that this course, program, whatever, doesn't work. Right? Someone hit 10K in their first month. So you decide that if you don't hit 10K in your first month, the course failed you. That is not how this works. That is not how this works. And also, this is not about 10K in 1 month, right? This is about building something that gives you freedom for the rest of your life. And you cannot put an arbitrary 30-day timeline on a lifetime goal. Do you understand that? And I didn't know this, right? I just thought, okay, person A got results in 30 days. Person B, me, should be able to get results in 30 days if I follow the same exact system and I show up exactly like they're showing up. But that's not how this works. Your timeline is not someone else's timeline. You have to think about things in people's worlds that are different. I came in 2023 to affiliate marketing at the time with 8 years of failures behind me. I had 8 years of posting online. I had 8 years of going live. Now, if somebody else started the same time that I did, but they didn't have those 8 years before, is it going to take them longer to probably reach the results that I got? It could. Because I had 8 years of trying before that, right? So we have to remember that every time we start something, we cannot base our timeline on someone else's arbitrary timeline. Does that make sense? Yeah, give me a heck yes in the comments if that makes sense. Because I want you to think about this. If you decided that you want to get in the best shape of your life, right? And you went to the gym every day for 2 weeks. And then you looked in the mirror in 2 weeks and you said, I don't look any different, so clearly working out doesn't work. You would never get in shape. You would join the next gym with the same equipment, by the way, and you'd be like, you know what? This time it's going to work. This time it's going to work. Yeah, makes sense, right? You would just keep switching gyms and blame the gym with the same equipment for not working. Hello? The course isn't the problem. The timeline that you put on it is. Okay, so that was mistake number 2. Mistake number 3. And I am telling you these because I talk to people every single day who show up with these problems. Maybe not problems, mistakes, right? Mistake number 3 is consuming instead of implementing. This one is a worldwide problem. And I say that with love because I was deep in this too. Okay? Did you know that the average person scrolls 300 feet of social media content every single day? Every single day. Do you know how much 300 feet is? I'm not really good with measurements. I need like things. So 300 feet is about the height of the Statue of Liberty. That's how much people scroll through social media in a day. Every single day. Okay? The height of the Statue of freaking Liberty. That's crazy. And I was one of those people. Scrolling from bed, right? Finding myself awake at 1 o'clock in the morning being like, I should probably go to bed now. Wasting 3 hours of my life up here. Scroll holing. Okay? Consuming content about building freedom instead of actually building the freedom. Here's what I really think is going on underneath all that. Okay? Because it's not laziness and it's not procrastination. So if anyone's ever told you, well, you're just lazy or you're procrastinating, or you have even told yourself that, or you said, well, I just have ADHD, cancel. Okay? It is not about those things. People are afraid to be seen. People are afraid to have an opinion. They're afraid to post something and have someone they know see it and judge them for it. So instead, they become behind the scenes. They become keyboard warriors. They watch, they comment. Maybe they don't comment. They save it, they share it, right? But they don't create themselves. And I'm not just talking content here. Miss, I don't know how to say your username, but she's saying me, right? Like been there. Meanwhile, these same people are scrolling till 1 o'clock in the morning, waking up the next day, going to a job that they don't love, coming home exhausted, scrolling for hours again, waking up tomorrow and doing it over and over and over again, and somehow still complaining that their life looks the same. And they're wondering why nothing has changed. Dana. Hi, Dana. Thanks for being here. Right? So I would also be willing to bet that these people play the lottery. And again, no shame. Like I was like, yeah, I'm going to win the lottery. That's my way out. Do you know the chances of winning the lottery versus the chances of betting on yourself? You will win every single time you bet on yourself. You will win every single time you bet on yourself. Do you win every time you play the lottery? Heck no. By the way, I don't know where you live. We have Mega Millions here where I live. It used to be $1 to play Mega Millions. $1. It is now $5 for one play of Mega Millions. That is insanity. Also, I think the lottery is rigged. So don't play, okay? But betting on yourself, you win every single time. Even if you can't see it on the surface, you have won in your heart. You have won deep down. You have gained another skill. You have changed your life. You have advanced your life. Okay, even again, you know the visual of the iceberg, right? Like the iceberg is huge underneath the water. That's the whole part that we can't see. All we can see is this little peak above the water. But really all the stuff that you're building is underneath the water. Oh, you're in Vegas. I love it. Okay, so the scroll is the comfort zone. I just spit, so excited. The scroll is the comfort zone. Creating is the work. You cannot consume your way to freedom. Who here, tell me in the comments who is here watching live, who here wants freedom? The freedom of choice, the freedom to get up without an alarm clock, the freedom to do your own work, the freedom not to answer to a boss, the freedom to take your time back, the freedom to go on a vacation, the freedom to spend a summer in Italy without having to ask anyone, without having to take time off, without having to go without pay, the freedom to go to bed at night and know that people can buy and spend money with you while you're sleeping. Me, yeah, of course, right? Scrolling and consuming is a comfort zone. We have to get out of a comfort zone in order to get that, in order to create the freedom. We have to, okay? So that's mistake number 3. Mistake number 4, waiting until everything is perfect. Perfect username, perfect brand colors, a perfect logo, perfect niche, blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh, I only have 200 followers. Can't can't talk about an offer, can't sell something online. Oh no. Or heck, you don't even know what your offer is yet, right? And you're like, I need a better camera. I need to learn more first. It's endless. This game is endless. I have heard every single version of this. But Gwen, another guru told me that I can't sell anything on my social media until I reach 10,000 followers. I'm so sorry, what? Who said that? Who made that rule? I started this account in 2023 with 0 followers, absolutely 0 followers. I started a brand new account. I put my blinders on. I didn't tell anyone else what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. So I started selling on day one because I was like, I don't know, right? 2 weeks in, I made a sale. $2.80. You might be thinking, that's ridiculous, Gwen, $2.80. Why are you bragging about that? I'm not bragging, by the way. Why are you telling us about that? Well, because that gave me the proof that showing up like this can work. That sharing my opinion and sharing my beliefs and sharing my values will connect me with other people, and it worked. Literally the next week, I earned $1,000. Okay. Will it be like that for you? No. Different person, different timeline, different story, right? But you write the rules. You get to say what it gets to look like for you. And that's the best part about this. Bet on yourself, and every time you will win. So here's the thing about perfect, because perfect is a moving target. The moment that you're like, oh, perfect username, okay, got it, then you're going to decide something else needs work. The branding needs work. The colors need work. The moment you hit 1,000 followers, you're going to say it's not good enough. You need 10,000 before you launch, because what if you launch and only one person buys? Yeah, what if? Perfect is not a destination, okay? It's simply a delay tactic. Don't come at me. But that's what it is. Perfect is a delay tactic. And most of the time, it is fear that is dressed up in productivity clothing. It makes you feel like you're doing the work, but this work is not the work that moves the needle. Okay? The women that I see winning in my world are not the most polished. Hi, pajamas, sweatpants, and I don't really just mean physically polished, but I mean like in general, right? They're not the most prepared. They're the ones who post anyway. They're the ones who launched before they felt ready. They're the ones who said something before they had all the answers. They're the ones who went live without really knowing what they were going to talk about. Hi, it's me. Okay? They're the ones who don't have makeup on, who aren't done up, who just show up every single day because they bet on themselves. Done beats perfect every single time. Can I get a heck yeah for that? Right? Done beats perfect every single time. And if you are someone who is watching this live and you have children, I want you to think about that. Because would you tell your child that before they can, I don't know, a lot of people, my kids are not in public school, but I keep seeing these kids that are doing invention convention this week. So like if you told your kid that they could invent something, but that they couldn't present it at invention convention until it was perfect, would you ever do that? Hopefully not. I know there are some parents out there who take over all the school projects and they do it for their kids. Disservice to the children. Let them live there in the messy middle. Let them figure it out, right? But I can guarantee you, most of you would not tell your kids, hey, you can't submit that invention convention yet because it's not perfect. No, you just let them run with their ideas because that's the creativeness behind it. And that's where their energy and their joy is. As soon as we start saying, oh, you should probably make that tea perfect, or you should paint that so it's, whatever. We start pulling away at their creative juices, and imagine how that feels. And now I want you to put yourself in that position as the adult. When you're telling yourself, you know what, Gwen, you can't post because you only have 100 followers. You can't talk about something that you offer because you don't have enough following yet, right? The creative juices just get sucked right out, and you take your joy away from what you are doing. The things that we should choose to do every day should be joyful. I'm not saying they're not going to be hard work. Sure, growth is hard. Learning new skills is hard. Learning new anything is hard. Putting yourself in front of the camera for the first time is hard, but it gets easier. But the only way it gets easier is if you show up and you do it, right? Is this landing with anyone? Is this making sense? Is this like, yes, Gwen, I'm getting this? If this is your first time watching a live with me, oh, holy hell, like you just jumped right in. Hi, I'm Gwen. I'm opinionated. And I'm very passionate about the work that I get to do and helping other women find their freedom. Create their freedom, not find it. Create it. Okay, let me give you the last mistake. Mistake number 5. Quitting too early. And this is the one that breaks my heart the most. Yeah, is it Gilly Bunch? He says, absolutely, growth is hard. Yeah. If it were easy, everyone would do it, right? Okay, mistake number 5, quitting too early. This breaks my heart the most because I see it the most often and because I've also been this person. Most people quit before everything compounds. Does anyone here invest? Like maybe you have a 401k. I probably am not even allowed to say those words here. I don't want the algorithm to think anything differently, but does anyone invest their money? Right? If you do, you probably know about compound interest. Also, you probably know about compounding if you have a credit card because we know how fast that interest compounds on the amount of money that we've spent on the card, right? One's a good compounding interest, one's not so good. But anyway, compounding. If you invest $5 a day, okay, just $5 a day, that's about $1,825 a year, $1,825 a year, right? And let's say that earns 10% a year. Now you have an extra $182. You didn't do anything but put your money in the market, okay? So now instead of $1,825, you have $2,007. Cool. The next year you earn another 10% on that. Now instead of $182 extra, you have another $200 extra. Okay? And then the next year you have another $220 extra, and then $242 extra. In the first year, that growth feels like nothing, right? But by year 4, by year 5, by year 10, that compound interest is snowballing in a way that's almost hard to believe, in a way that like you couldn't have even imagined it, right? Building something in the digital space, selling a product, service, offer, etc. in the digital space works the same way. Okay, the skills that you build every single day compound. The content that you post compounds, which is the greatest thing about social media. Post it today, it lives for as long as your account is live. I have posts that are pinned at the top of my profile that I made 2 years ago that people still come back, watch, and comment on. And I make sales from. I created it one time 2 years ago, and it still makes me sales, right? That is compounding interest. Was I great at lives the first time I did a live? Heck no, I stumbled over my words. I probably turned purple. In fact, I think I remember the first live that I did on Facebook, right? It wasn't great, but you have to do the first one, and then you have to do the second one, the third one. You have to go up at bat in order to hit a home run, yeah? You have to stay in it long enough, because the trust that you build not only with yourself, but with the people that you're showing up for, the people that you want to help and make an impact with, that builds trust. The reps you put in compound, but you have to stay in it long enough to see them. So when people come to me and they tell me, Gwen, I invested in such and such course or such and such mentor and it didn't work, I'm like, what do you mean it didn't work? The expectation of success that you had in a certain timeline didn't show up when you thought it would show up? Did you do exactly what they said to do every single day? And for how long did you do that? Or did you just say, well, it's been 30 days. I should be successful by now. By what standard? Yeah? Been there, done that. Now, granted, there are bad investments. For sure. Right? There are bad coaches. And sometimes it takes investing in them to figure out that they're a bad coach. But it's not the end of the world. And it's not worth losing your hat over, right? This just gives us better awareness when we figure these things out. I had to invest in my very first coach in 2018. I spent $10K. It was the most money I'd ever spent besides buying a house. And I was like having almost a heart attack about it, right? But I chatted with my husband. We thought it was a great idea. It was an investment. I was going to grow from it. And it didn't end up being the thing that I wanted it to be. But did I learn from that scenario? Of course I did. Of course I did. I built skills, I learned awareness, and it contributed to my growth, right? That compounding interest. So I have all the time in my world for in the world for my goals. I have all the time. Yeah? And so do you. So it shouldn't matter when it happens. If you are truly committed to making this one thing happen, let's just say you want to work for yourself, you want to make your own money, you don't want to answer to a boss. If you are committed to that goal, it shouldn't matter how long it takes you to get there. All that should matter is that you work to get there and you do it and you never gave up, because it cannot happen if you quit in the middle, right? It cannot happen if you quit in the middle. So let's land this plane. Why don't people make money online? It's not the strategy. It's just that they keep switching strategies before any of them have had a chance to work. It's that they implement as someone else instead of themselves. It's that they scroll instead of create. It's that they wait for perfect instead of starting messy. And it's that they quit before that compounding effect kicks in. Okay, so now here's the part that I really, really, really want you to hear. Okay, lean in. Because all 5 of those things come back to one central focus. You ready? Has anyone watched or is anyone watching Your Friends and Neighbors? I don't know how old this show is. I just got onto it with Jon Hamm. It's great so far. Leaves you on the edge of your seat every episode, right? I'm in season 2. And in season 2, there's a scene where this character tells a story about rats. So it's Coop, the main character, Jon Hamm, and he's talking to his sister. And his sister is, she had an addiction problem, I think, or a mental health issue, and she's finally like coming around to being better, and she just got a job. And so Coop at one point had said that he didn't think she could handle the job. And she's sitting on the couch and she's talking to her brother and she tells him a story. And it's a story about these group of rats, right? 10 rats. They take 5 rats and they put them in the box labeled smart. And then they take 5 rats and they put them in the box labeled dumb. And then they invite these kids in to initiate these rats going through a maze. And so the kids come in and they see which box these rats are in. And take a guess on which rats succeeded finishing and going through the maze. Which ones were the most successful, do you think? If you're here watching live, let me know. Do you think it was the box of smart labeled rats? Or do you think it was the box of dumb labeled rats? Mind you, all the rats were the same. You can't IQ test a rat, right? Which rats made it to the end of the maze? Which ones were the most successful? Which ones? The ones in the box labeled smart, right? Why? Because the kids believed that the smart ones could. Right? They already had an expectation that they would be successful. The smart ones would make it. The rats were the same in both boxes. So here's the thing. When the sister was telling Coop this story, she said, I'm the rat. If you don't believe that I can succeed, then it's going to be really hard for me to succeed. Then I need you to believe in me. So here's what I need you guys to know about that story. You are the rat, but you are also the kids. Okay, so you have to believe in you or else you will not succeed. And that is at the center of all of these 5 mistakes that people are making that aren't allowing them to actually make money in the digital space. You are the rat, but you are also the kid. And you have to put yourself in the smart box because you are, and you always have been. You just forgot. Okay? And I'm here to remind you. The strategy was never the problem, the belief was. And I know that I say this here a lot, and I get it. I said a lot of things on this live, but what I really want to do is just help people in so many ways. In massive ways, I want to help people succeed. I want to change generational wealth. right? I want you to take up more space and to be loud. I know some of you might be new here watching me for the very first time, and you might not know that for the first couple of years of my life, maybe not, well, talking years, okay? My younger sister spoke for me. I was too shy, too afraid of what people would think, too afraid of judgment. She literally asked where the bathroom was, would order my food. She did all the things for me. She was my voice because I was too afraid. Now I get paid to speak on stages and show up on lives randomly on a Sunday night. Like, it is wild what you can put your mind to if you really want to. Okay, but I want to help people take massive steps and massive implementation and change generational wealth. I want you to take up space and be loud. Okay, how did I build what I've built? By being unapologetically me. And it wasn't easy in the beginning. I became more confident, but I had to start before I could become more confident, right? People don't like me. Sure, people probably do like me, but people don't like me. And they don't like me because I think I'm a mirror. I'm a mirror for the things that they're afraid to do. People think that the women who go for it are selfish. Sorry, what? There is nothing selfish about you going for your goals, about you going for what you want in your life. You were not meant to go to work and then come home and struggle. That wasn't the life plan for you. That wasn't it. The people who come into my world want something different. Okay? And they get to have it. And I'm here to make it super simple. So if you're not in my world yet, if you haven't seen how I coach and how I help women build this life of freedom that they want, I created a super short bingeable training called Ditch the Niche. Okay, or you can say niche if you like it that way. But this is for the woman who's ready to stop being in her own way because she knows that she is. It's for the woman who has been playing small and she knows it. It's for the one who's willing to dance with the idea that she can reinvent herself at any age, at any stage, and at any starting point. And this Ditch the Niche is full of proof that she can. So even if you're not sure what that would look like for you, that's going to give you the answers. If you message me the word ditch, I will send it to you. Just send me a message. Don't do it on this live because I after the live, the comments go away. But once it's posted and it's live on my page, you can comment the word ditch or message me the word ditch. I will send it to you. Okay. It will literally have you ripping your old beliefs apart. The ones that you said, I'm too old, I'm too late, I'm not smart enough. What if I'm not capable enough? Maybe I can't write a second chapter, right? It will have you ripping them to shreds and standing in the deepest seated belief that you can and will do this. And that's the most important foundational part of this whole thing. It is building on concrete instead of quicksand. And it doesn't matter if you don't know at all what kind of product or service or offer or thing that you want to put out into the world. I promise you I'll help you find it. That is the whole goal of that training, okay? You will know after going through. And if you are the man who sent me that email and you happen to watch this, I just want you to know I see you. You are not behind, okay? You are not broken. You are not a failure. You just haven't given yourself enough time yet. And I believe in you more than you can know. More than you can know. If you guys were here this whole time, if you popped in and popped out, or if you were here for only 0.5 seconds, I just want to thank you for being here and showing up with me live on a Sunday night. If you watch the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Drop something in the comments. Tell me what hit you. Tell me where you're at. Send me a message. It's literally me. Hi, it's me over here answering all the messages that I have. Okay? I read everything. I will probably voice message you or send you a video, okay? But I want this for you. And I am so glad that you are here. I love you. I hope that this pushed a button. I hope that this got you off your butt and got you starting working towards your dream, because it is never too late. You are not too old, and you are fully capable of reinventing yourself at any age, okay? I love you so much. I'll see you guys later.